Next, we'll move on to the another session, which is a panel discussion with industry experts. It is on the topic, the next big thing, which is related to the innovation and opportunities in IT segment for the businesses. May I invite the moderator, Mr. Sharjah Kakatil, who is heading the Information Security and IT Quality Assurance at Dubai Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Sharjah Kakatil, please welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone. The next big thing, that is our topic for today. So, what is going to be the next big thing after Friday heavy lunch? It's nothing other than sleeping, right? But we have our interesting panelists today, very energized and motivating speakers. I hope and I wish they are going to keep you awake. Not for the next few minutes. Instead, if you are a really good aspirant for career and a real good aspirant for a future business person, they will keep you awake for the next decades which are coming through. So, with that note, let me welcome our panelists. First, Dr. Maria Papadaki. She's from British University in Dubai, Assistant Professor of Project Management, Director of Dubai Center for Risk and Innovation, and Member of Board of Institute of Risk Management. Mariam, please. And Mr. Banna Iqbal. Banna Iqbal started his first company at his early teenage, at the age of 13, I think. And after that, he started, I think, one company every year. And the count of company, I couldn't remember. Couple of companies. So he made a holding company and put all the other companies under it, just like Google Alphabets. Yes. In the coming future, inshallah. Banna Iqbal, welcome. And Mr. Abdul Rahoof, he's Head of Security Solution from Securetech. He's strong in developing solutions. So we have academicians, we have business person, and we have a solution implementer, which is taking the pressure of developing all those things for the future. Welcome to the all panelists, and I welcome all of you. And this event, this special session is hosted by Skydust, our career experts. So I think let's break the bubble first. I don't want to keep that next big thing to the end of this discussion. Instead, let us start with that. So, Mr. Banna, what do you think is going to be the next big thing?
Yes. So, what I feel like is that there's a lot of big things that are already in the market. Technology has progressed quite a lot. So we have artificial intelligence and cryptocurrencies, blockchains, and things like that. But what we don't have yet is how can we use these technologies to bring them together and change the way we live. We have not yet achieved actual implementation of all these technologies. People are not able to use these things, as in we hear about AI, we hear about blockchain, but for a common man like you and me, how has this improved our life? So I feel like the next big thing is going to be all these new emerging technologies coming into and changing the way we live. So it could be as simple as when you walk into your house, what are you going to do different than what you were doing 10 years ago or 5 years ago? So all these technologies coming into real life, that will be the next big thing. There's a lot of far-fetched ideas that are coming in, but what really is all these simple things coming into and changing the way you live.
So the next big thing is going to change our life.
Yes.
So you mentioned that this next big thing is going to be a little bit difficult. But yes. I think some of these technologies already been implemented, and Mr. Rahoof could share some of that.
If you actually look at the big things, what happened across the globe so far in the history, so it was the industry revolution. It was a big thing, where people were doing handlooms and they moved to machines. It was a big thing. When computer came, it was another big thing, where a complete change, a paradigm change on the entire way approach that we work. So what we are seeing as a big thing in the past was always giving a solution to human problems or catalyst more enabled way of doing activities on daily tasks. So next big thing, which he rightly said, which is on data science or machine learning or AI, is again to enable humans with a more productive way. So it's next big thing is also to solve human problems or make things easy for humans. So which is the correlated activities of data science, ML or AI. So that's what I feel as the next big thing. What happened in the past, yes, it will be a different mode what will happen in the future, but it will be really a big thing.
Yeah, over to Ms. Maria, and the blockchain, as they mentioned, it's a buzzword, and it looks like it's practically a bit difficult to implement. What is your?
Yeah, I'm coming from the British University in Dubai that we already implement blockchain.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So all our students now they can get not a paper. They are paperless degrees. So we follow the strategy of Dubai. We done it with the University of Nicosia, and now we do the backlog of the rest of the students. I kind of I don't know. I heard about AI and blockchain and everything, and however, all these talks were from 1958, and still we say, you know, exactly. 1958. They said, okay, computers will take the human mind. So I still read and experience the same conversations around the globe, and I think for AI. There is the pragmatist, there is the pessimist, there is the optimist, is the people that they believe that the robots is going to take out our life, or we're going to use the robots and the algorithms to make better decisions, or others that they say, okay, come on, we never discovered the human mind and how that works and how consciousness works, and now you're telling me in 10 years that I will have something there that is going to make decisions for me. So this includes risks, of course. It looks at risks about how the governance is going to go, who is going to make the decisions, the robots or the humans. So, and if you follow this path, then you act like crazy. I think from my point of view, because you can find as much science and entrepreneurs around, you can find from Elon Musk to other people that they said, you know, I think it's there, it's a technology. It's nothing rather than, in my opinion, it's just a technology. It's how we use this technology to enhance our decision making. Because blockchain, okay, yes, it's a buzzword, but it's it makes you decentralized. It's a peer-to-peer network that you had a lot of computer to verify your data. It's there, you cannot erase the data, so you cover some risks, future risks, by using this technology. But this technology cannot be used in isolation. It has to be used in collaboration with AI, with digitalization, with IoT. Everything needs to work together. I think the challenges right now is how we can cope together. That's why you see around a lot of proof of concepts, but you don't see real...
how it's going to change your life, right?
Exactly. So, and then you have the regulations of the countries. You have the globalization and everything, how countries connect together. So we cannot reach only the technology, but we are now facing a changing in society and how people communicate and collaborate. So this is quite different. If we take it to the technology, just the technology, I think it's more a social aspect in the whole, how we have the technology to move forward and how we can become better. So
the technology is a life enabler, and it's not going to take your jobs. So the robot is not going to take your jobs, right? Is it?
This was believed in the industrial revolution. Now we experience the fourth industrial revolution. I think that we're going to create much more smarter jobs. However, there is a risk there for the entrepreneurs that I'm going to go and ask. If you have this kind of jobs, which is going to make you smarter, easier, are you going to allow employees to spend more work-life balance and use their mind in more easier stuff, or are you going to still have the robots and you're still going to have the technology as well?
Yes, as Elon Musk said, you know, with referring to what you rightly said even. To make a robot might take the job of around 100 people. To make that robot, more than 1,000 people has to work to make such a robot.
Yes.
So you would have been noticed a small robot over here, which no one is actually giving any attention to it. It's a juice maker machine.
Oh, yeah.
It's over there.
Yes.
It's actually a robot. It's a juice maker machine. If someone made it that with a human face and making the oranges taking in his hands and making that orange, nothing, the same technology, but they are just putting another metaphor on top of it. And if you try to put that and put it in the food court area over there, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will buy from here. So it's a marketing thing that robot is around since very, very, very long.
Yeah.
But still, as Ms. Maria said, there is a lot of proof of concepts are still going on. So that proof of concept is something which is not materialized as a business, which there is a lot of opportunities for the business people who sit over here.
Yes.
How can you relate? How can you say, if you can give some examples?
Yeah, that's what I initially said. So now we have technologies, individually they are very smart. So we have AI and we have blockchain and all these robots and things. Individually they have matured a lot. But what has not happened is people don't understand that how can we bring this technology into real life and make something that somebody would want to use it, or how is somebody going to buy something from us? Or the fact is, this should look appealing to somebody, just as you mentioned. If there's a technology that makes the juice, but there's also technology that you can have a human robot sort of thing that is there, but there's never been something that is done combined. So there's a lot of opportunities that exist in the market in terms of how you can apply these things that exist in the market together, and that's where the next big thing, as we were talking about, comes in. And one example I can give you, provided, is where we are using AI and blockchain a little bit. So this is something that we do every day. So what we do is, a simple example that we can do is, we buy land. So we buy properties and land and things like that every day. And you go into the land registry and you're like, okay, I need to find out, especially if I am to give an example of how you buy land in a country like India, where it's very unorganized as such. Everything happens in paper, as in if you were to go and register a land, you have to go through a lot of documents, a lot of old history of the land, things like that. So technology exists today. We talk about blockchain, we talk about digital records and things like that. It's something that a government can simply adopt into making that easier for you. So imagine you go into registry and you can instantly transfer the land to your name because everything is digitalized, and you have the blockchain technology that enables you to know that the entire life history of that land is now available digitally, as in who owned the land before you, who owned the land before that. Everything has been digitally available on blockchain, and you're simply adding that technology into real life. And this has just saved you a lot of time in terms of your everyday life. So this is just one example, and there's a lot of opportunities where you can bring in these small technologies and make small changes, but that will change the way we interact with others, the way we communicate, the way we spend our daily life doing transactions with anybody, with banks, with governments, with anything that you might look in. So that is where I feel like there's a lot of opportunities. Now we can explore specific areas, like in terms of AI and all that, but that goes into how you can combine two things.
That's great.
Yes. So in the example of the British University in Dubai, let's say, what we've done with the University of Nicosia, if this take a bigger scale, you don't need attestation of degrees or anything. We have our own verification tool that you get an address there as an employee. You can go upload the PDF, which I give it to the student with metadata, and then you can say, yes, this is a true
degree. Yes.
And a student. So how many fake degrees we have around the globe?
Right. Yes.
And people are getting employees without the true correct record. So I know that Dubai now is starting to do the true correct record from the birth and everything, which will allow to see what is the right document and the document, rather than go from a ministry to a ministry that test it and then send it to another country and everything. So
in fact, the entire transactions have been ledgered in different areas and been authenticated. So that's the truth of the information. The authenticated information has been provided. That's another aspect of how blockchain's key purpose of its function. Yeah.
Yeah, audience will get a chance to ask questions. If someone want to ask any questions after the next question, you'll get a chance. So if you want to pose a question, please raise your hand after the next question. I would like to ask to Mr. Rahoof, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. Just like people are discussing about what is mind and intelligence, you know, and where does the mind sits? Is it over here or? So it's a classical question. The same confusion I think is there between artificial intelligence, machine learning, so many things. And people just doesn't listen to the digitalization thing, because we are coming from India. Even the ration card shops is now having, you know, it's digitalized.
Yes.
Occasionally it doesn't work, but still. So what is the difference, or is it the same?
Okay. So let's understand what is data in our new economy, or the current economy, or the digital economy that we are into. In a digital economy, data is the oil, or data is the fuel which enables the digital economy. Now, let us understand the specific users, how we can use this data which benefits in certain industries. So be it through deep learning, machine learning, or AI. So the structured or unstructured data, which is either information or it's been spread across on a data lake, could be correlated, as I said, a correlated information which works on multiple areas. So the correlation or understanding the data is the function where it happens on deep learning or rather machine learning. The system that can, the few things, the system that can do, the system that can learn, and the system that can think are the few things, or as a system. If you talk about this into a system wise, these are the system that can do, system that can learn, and the system that can think. Now, you have data, even if it's a retail industry or any industry, you have multiple data. How you use of your own data from your existing customers, the behavior pattern, the purchase patterns, and you make a machine learning or put a deep learning system on top of that, and how your AI, which is a decision making system or a system that can think, will function. So if you actually look at, let me just take an example of a retail industry. I mean, it will be pretty easy to understand. So retail industry, you have multiple customers, you have repeated customers, you have new customer. So how do you ensure a customer engagement program? How do you ensure a customer retention? So based on understanding the pattern or the purchase behavior of your customer, you can pull in new offers and things specifically tailor-made to the customer. So how do you do that? Maybe through cross-selling. Cross-selling is another option, because I buy a laptop, or I buy a laptop online yesterday, and today I am at the brick and mortars, or I am at the store. So you can push me an offer which would be a bag or an accessories related to it. It's a cross-selling. So this enables by correlating the information, correlating the data that you have. So, or be defining a customer loyalty program. How do you define your customer loyalty program? Or probably a market basket. Basically, market basket is a combination of product. So I purchased milk, I purchased egg. Probably, you know, it is something related to a breakfast. So what else could go good for the breakfast? Maybe bread, maybe jam. So you have an offer running on your jam or bread. You can push those offers specifically to the customer. You can enable all these things using data. So you are undermining the fuel that you have, which enables either the machine learning or the decisions, which is the AI, is the undermining data that you have. How well you organize to do this is the success remains, if in any industry. If you are talking about autonomous industry, the unmanned, or let's say that autopilot,
vehicles, yeah.
the autopilot vehicles, so it's also driven by data. It has sensors across which gives it data. So how well you use of your data, be it social data or be it the data that you have available of your customers, is where the success lies, and how well you will able to produce this data to some business information, or the way you want to do analytics on the information is where the success lies. So data is a new fuel in the digital economy, or rather an oil to the digital economy.
That's great. Let me ask a question to the audience. How many of you presently using cloud computing? A few hands, a few hands. How many of you using a mobile phone? Mobile phone. All of you. I mean, the people who are not raising, I mean, they just shy to raise their hand.
I'm shocked. There is very less
all
hands,
of you.
but the stat says that 92.3% of the persons in UAE, the expats and the locals, they use a mobile phone.
No, here it is 100%. I want to know someone who don't use the mobile
89% use smartphone. That's the stat says. So that's why digital economy is coming in.
I think here it is 100%. So the question what I raised about the cloud computing is because if you are using a mobile phone, you are already on the cloud.
Yes.
You are already on the cloud. So these technologies that we just mentioned, artificial intelligence, blockchain, data, machine learning, and all those things, you already have. You don't have a choice to get out of it.
Yes, yes.
So these are the buzzwords, but these buzzwords, the business team has to pick it up.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm a little bit confused when you say that, what you rightly mentioned is that everyone is doing, okay? Analyzing customer metaphor. So even Microsoft or Apple and Google, they rightly know that a big bunch of Kerala community or Indian community is presently gathered over here.
Yeah.
So based on this data, they can give advertisement on the next Come On Kerala event over here.
True.
So they're already doing it. Our small shops are all, so everyone is having connected, everyone is having the systems, and even CCTVs are there. Okay, and it's all been monitored. What else is left? What else is left for the business to pitch a business on this front?
So I think it's a very good question. So I'll pitch in a different way. We all, one way or another, we all are in. We can enable AI or a machine learning within your environment or retail environment. BUiD be a small retail shop, okay, which is functioning in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, or anywhere in UAE. BUiD be a small retail shop. Now, as he asked of CCTV, which is very key core area for me. So, in such domain, you have a regulatory requirement. You have to have a CCTV system. This is a requirement from the government, correct? So you end up making your investment there on a CCTV system. Now, how can you use of this CCTV to give you some business information, or how can you translate this investment back to your business? Now, you have analytics which give you multiple n number of information. Maybe it be people counting. People counting will able to tell you at which hour you have, what number of people you have at your store, or at which areas, or which is called heat map. So which area of the store is most people are visited, or it can be the demography or the age group of the people which is coming. Those are the basic analytics what I'm talking about. Now, how this can help a small businessman who are having one shop or a multiple shop. So for example, you find one product which is being located in that corner of your shop is getting sold very less. So probably because the people don't have a tendency to move around. Maybe the public don't have a tendency to move around that crowd. Maybe it is not easy to move, or maybe certain things, because you have the same store with the same product which is selling more, or your competitor is selling that particular product more. So how do you realign that is basically how do you change the design. So it influence in changing your physical design of your store. Now, what else you can make use of? We said people counting. So you might know what time you have high public, maybe in the evening, maybe in the morning, or maybe in the afternoon, or maybe at night. So you can also align your staff to function efficiently on those times. So if it's 8 hours of working time, so you can actually align with how much public you have in your shop with the number of staff you have, and well managed within those times. And if it's a mall, it will help you to do pricing for your shops. How do you do pricing?
So the CCTV is not just to catch the thief which is coming into the shop.
Exactly.
Instead, that you can smartly use it to analyze the customer behavior and pattern.
Exactly. It is not just about security. Yes, it is about security, of course, on a major part, security and safety. But at the same time, you can make use of that investment to give business intelligence to you. Be it in pricing, people counting, heat map, analyzing the store, the pattern of the cloud movement. There are a wide variety of use cases which you can rightly implement across.
Any questions from the audience at this point? One question, okay, because we are limit of time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nowadays, we are using social medias and everything, and we already have the AI system to recognize the face of people, and all the images we are posting on social media and everywhere, and any robot or mobiles can take a picture anytime with that nose, and how the security part is coming, like how much secure the AI system in future, and how much privacy we can give.
Miss Maria, yeah, Miss Maria is from risk and compliance thing, so I hope you can.
I think Maria started on that.
Yes, the fact that there is not regulation around the countries, and we can see now GDPR from European Union, then the rest is making difficult to protect the environment. And we say, okay, what is allowed and what is not allowed, and companies, where you can start and where you can stop, and where is the fines and everything. So regulation right now is a challenge around the globe to many countries. Yeah. I know that Dubai is working on this, but as soon as we don't have the right regulation, we cannot manage this risk. There are countries around that they are doing, like China, like Singapore, that they are putting the regulation around this. But the risk for me is like you don't know where the technology is going to be led. So those two have to work together. Entrepreneurs, society, and government all together to see the amount of freedom that they're going to give to this kind of things, because it's going to be easily a violation, and we know that it's a violation already.
In fact, the California governor 2 days ago announced that all our data is on Facebook and Twitter and you tweet, and these companies are making money off our data, and these are things that we go to stores, we buy things. Now the government wants to announce something called a data dividend, where they want to give money to people for sharing their data, so they will distribute profits to the common people just for using Facebook and Twitter.
But this is logical, because it's your own property.
Yes, and you're not being paid for it because you're indirectly contributing.
So
I have a different view of that. I mean, mostly if you hear what happened in the court, been asked for the Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, or be with Sundar Pichai, what they have been said is the user data has been collected with their permission.
Yes.
So
this permission, I would like to conclude with that. The permission.
Always who has to be careful is us. We have to be careful. I mean,
when you tick that button, right? But no one is going to read about it.
When you say I agree, you are really agreeing to publish your information.
This is hard. You cannot use any
European Union now with GDPR, okay? Yeah. But how many people you think that they are aware of saying yes or no to that email?
Well, the discussion is going to be very interesting.
Do you think that there is the right education from the government point of view to the people, and say to them, okay, you should do this, this is a policy, this is a framework? I don't think there is the data for the people to make the right decision on this.
Well, I think we need to conclude. With this question, I mean, of course, there are a lot of technology around. If the next big thing is very clear to us, I think I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yes.
And you wouldn't be sitting, you will be busy opening that perfect company. So there are a lot of next big things, even starting from a legal firm person, which is the end that we pitch this, the conclusion of this discussion. There is a lot of open things, starting from, it's not only about the technology, it's not only about making a software solution, to the regulatory framework. Through that journey, where we started the journey of the PC to a laptop, to a handheld device, and we are reaching to a head-mounted device, and the artificial intelligence is taking that inside your body. So there is a lot of business opportunity, and with this note, with the final conclusion with Maria, I would be concluding this, because I have immense pressure from the organization.
Okay, so I think the next big thing is decisions, and it always was decisions in the society. It's leaders' decisions, it's government decisions, it's people decisions. All the tools, all the technology innovation is helping us to make the right decisions.
Exactly.
Well, as a business people, you have to take that right decision of what is your next big thing. With that note, I thank all of the panelists. Thank you very much to the audience, and you are being a very, very good audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you, Sharjah Kakatil and other panelists. That was an interesting session, a wide and good information. And I would request all other audience, if they have any further clarifications on this topic, please feel free to discuss with them in person. Thank you.